First tonight at 6, the governor calls for an end to the attacks in the race for U.S. Senate. But it is not clear whether that plea will put a stop to the mudslinging. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Hovde. Governor Scott Walker had said he would not endorse a candidate in the race for U.S. Senate because then he could be a referee if the attacks got out of line. Well, today he was asked if they were.
Haven't dropped the flag yet, but it's getting pretty close. I think that debate the other day, I think there are 4 outstanding candidates in the primary, and I think they'd be well served not only for the primary but for the general election if they stayed focused on the differences between themselves and Congressman Baldwin, because I think the differences are substantial and they're important for the state of Wisconsin.
Now, the governor said he hasn't seen any claims that were a, quote, blatant lie, but that it was all in the interpretation of the ads. News 3 examining those ads as the August 14th primary approaches. Tonight, political reporter Jessica Arp gives an Eric Hovde ad a reality check.
Trying to stay above the fray, political newcomer Eric Hovde accuses his opponents of unfair attacks on his record. Then he proceeds to attack theirs.
Mark Newman and Tommy Thompson are slinging mud to distract from their own weakness. Just like Congressman Newman savaged Scott Walker, now he's distorting my record.
This is misleading. It's hard to say that Newman savaged Scott Walker. Walker ultimately prevailed in the GOP gubernatorial primary in 2010 by 20 points, although Newman did run negative ads against him, and Walker against Newman.
Newman hopes he'll forget his 4 votes to raise the national debt, and Tommy Thompson is desperate to hide his support for Obamacare.
This needs clarification. First, Newman did vote 4 times to raise the national debt limit, but so did the other Wisconsin Republicans in Congress at the time. The debt limit increases happened multiple times in 1995 and 96 when Newman was in Congress, as the Republican-controlled House tried to come up with spending cut proposals tied to a long-term increase in the debt. Then we get to Tommy Thompson and whether or not he supported the federal health care law. Thompson was outspoken about his general support for reform of the nation's healthcare system and argued for a compromise on the issue. The Obama White House did use Thompson's support for change as a talking point, but he did not, in fact, ever directly endorse the legislation. Thompson now says explicitly that he does not support the president's health care law and says it needs to be, quote, repealed, replaced, and rewritten. I'm Jessica Arp with this News 3 Reality Check.